Hi, I'm Summer McStravick, and welcome to Money Intuition, where we get to explore the minds and the thinking of some very successful women who've used both their intuition and their know-how to create sustainable, financially abundant, and especially self-created lives, such as my guest today. I have Edut, and she is one half of the Astro twins. You might have been reading some of her horoscopes that she's written for you, either in Elle Magazine, TV Guide, or even on her own website, astrostyle.com. She has a new book out recently called Momstrology. And Ophira, I'm excited to talk with you about the energy of money and wealth and how you've translated that into your own life and your own beautiful big business in astrology. And everybody listening is wanting to know the same thing. So let's start with that question. How did you get started in this? I mean, you and your sister are very well known, and you've created a vibrant career doing horoscopes. How'd that happen?
I know, it's kind of funny, hey? Well, it actually started as a hobby. I worked in publishing and had my own little magazine in college, and then I worked for Ms. Magazine for a little while, and also taught myself web skills along the way, and astrology was always a hobby, but while working in publishing, I kind of saved one of my coworkers' relationships, and it ended up in a marriage. And she went on to work at Teen People magazine and gave us a job writing the column. I guess, you know, the good karma came back around. Yeah. We're like, okay, sure. Well, my twin sister and I were like, well, sure, we'll write an astrology column. Why not? And, you know, that was in 2001. The first issue came out in 2002. So it's been about 12 years. So it wasn't an overnight thing. It's just slow and steady and, you know, keep following the passion. And I feel like you just kind of snowball sometimes.
So you reach that point. What were you doing while you were kind of getting it all started? When you were just sort of writing your teen angst romance column, a horoscope column on the side?
Well, that was actually a pretty decent paycheck back in 2002. But,
great. So there was no side. That became it. That became everything.
No, there was a side. I built websites for people for years, which I actually really enjoyed. My sister and I had a branding company called Meteorology, and we both built websites for people. And it's been a great way to keep my skills built up. I stopped doing websites a couple years ago, but it's always nice to make, you know, the rent or whatever in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just you have to know all of this stuff. I don't like waiting around for someone else to do it for me. That's also how we've been able to succeed, to keep the operations lean by learning how to do a lot of the publishing stuff ourselves.
Right. That's interesting. You built websites. I come from a background similar, where I was doing kind of one thing, and I can still slap up a site if I have to.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I have had my hands a lot on our new website that we just put up.
It's gorgeous, by the way.
Last year. Thank you.
I've been there trying to get all my free stuff from you, my charts and this and that.
Awesome.
All right, so when you began building this career, then it sounds like you had a bit of, I call it flow, but things kind of falling into your lap a bit. Was there a point where things stopped falling in your lap and you realize, oh, I've got to push through into something else? I've got to make a decision if this is going to be it or something else, or, you know, a turning point?
Kind of. You know, Teen People went out of business in 2005. And it's funny because knowing my own chart, I knew that was the end of a 12-year cycle for me as a Sagittarius. I thought, I wonder what's going to change. And like, kind of like clockwork, we got this call saying they were going out of business. And they were our bread and butter. They just paid so nicely. And we're kind of like, uh-oh, what are we going to do? But I also realized, you know, that I wasn't as passionate about writing for teens as I wanted to write for women. You know, I think I had just turned 30 or 31 around the time. And while I enjoyed writing about celebrities and pop culture, I wanted to go deeper. I had also been doing like some personal growth work. I'd just gotten started with that. And going a little deeper in my own self-awareness work. So it kind of worked out as a blessing in disguise to start writing for an older audience.
Right.
And that's when I really built a lot of websites that year. But one thing I did also was like I built up our website. We weren't really doing much with our own website. We were just really focusing on teen people. And we decided, all right, let's take, 8 or 9 months, create the content that we want. It's like it was kind of like, how are we going to tell people, hey, we want to write astrology for women who are into self-awareness? Like, let's just write that ourselves, create an astrology website that's like a women's lifestyle website through the lens of astrology. And so we wrote money horoscopes and career and style and decorating and all this content and put it up. And then a few months later, Lifetime TV contacted us and asked to license a lot of the content. So we ended up getting paid for all this content we had created with no real clear agenda in mind.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you feel that there was anything that you were doing that created this, seemingly luck of having these wonderful companies step in and help you along the way?
Yeah, just giving astrology advice to people who worked in publishing, with no agenda. I would meet people along the way or through jobs, through friends, and just, oh, you're a Scorpio? This is going to happen now, or this is going on for you, or how's your love life going? Because on June 26th, this planet is going in your relation, So people just kind of remembered.
Yeah.
My sister and I both have like database brains, so we just remember what's going on in the stars at all times. So so I think people just were like, oh,
So you just started putting yourself essentially where your customers were, not treating them like customers at that point.
I didn't even think of it that way. I just thought, they became our customers. But it's just like our approach has always been talking to people like they're our friends, or like it's a conversation. And conversations that are authentic and genuine usually lead to more. So I never thought, I am going to build an astrology business. It's just like, God, this is awesome. I'm getting paid to talk about horoscopes. Let's see what other, what else be leveraged from this.
Right. So let's switch a little bit, because you mentioned the money horoscope, and I think a lot of people watching right now are curious, and I am too. I've been asking some of our co-hosts in the event here about the energy of money itself. Kind of a Jupiter-esque, I don't know what the right word is. When you're talking, what do you feel money really is when you put it in context of astrology and planetary influences? Like, how do you talk to it or work with it?
A lot of it is timing. Every month in our monthly horoscopes, there's a money section, money and career section. And we'll look at where the sun is, because the sun moves into a new sign once a month. And, the sun gives us our life force energy. Some months it's better to stay in and get organized. Some months it's better to take a rest and not push things. Some months it's better to go, if the sun is in your first house of self and identity, then it's good to go out there with a solo project. When it's in your 7th house of relationships, that's when you want to work on delegating or looking for win-win scenarios and collaborators. So I think what's really important is this sort of astrological cyclical living, being in tune and in sync with what the stars are doing, because there's always, Saturn is always in some part of your chart, and that creates sometimes obstacles or things that take a little longer to come together, whereas Jupiter may speed things up, or Mars, which is all about drive and ambition. Wherever Mars is in your chart that month can show you where to really put your most assertive energy. So, we decode that for people in our horoscopes every month so they know the best use of their energy. So what money really is you use the word flow. It really is about going with the flow, not swimming upstream like we often do, because we're freaked out and we want to control everything and have that human survival instinct,
So for you, a horoscope is really about kind of presenting a general layout of where the energies are in your favor or not in your favor, where they're going to be easy, where they're going to be difficult, month to month. So if a person is trying to create more income in their life, they'll realize, well, maybe this isn't my income month. Maybe this is my relationship building month.
Exactly.
Which, yeah, if I make that more solid, then I will come back with, other areas of my life stable or something along those lines.
It's like, don't waste your time really like concentrating on that. If something comes along, great. But yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you think that some people have better charts than others when it comes to money, either making it or keeping it? Are some people just doomed? Some people listening right now, they're like, I'm just doomed.
That's the thing about astrology that we try to steer people away from, because we've done a lot of like coaching and therapy and personal training work. We really believe that you can have free will and align yourself with the stars. There's no, nobody is doomed. There's no such thing as a bad chart. But I have seen a lot of people who have what's called a grand trine, which is 3 planets in this very harmonious angle to each other, so it looks like a triangle in their chart. I have seen those people just naturally, move through the process faster. A lot of them just get opportunities like nothing, but they're not always prepared if things don't go their way because they're used to having everything handed to them.
Right.
Whereas people who have maybe tougher charts where they have to fight for things, they may grow more. They may be better prepared in the end. They may end up on top later because they have built this character from working so hard against some of these challenges and reckoning with themselves. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does put in context not being envious of anyone else's chart.
No, I
don't have a grand trine. My life is doomed to struggle. It's not doomed to struggle. It's doomed to overcoming things so that you're even more solid and you just kind of develop different characteristics in yourself. Yeah, but everybody can lead to the same point in their success.
Yeah, and the struggle is really just like once you understand why you have that struggle, then you can start to make the right moves and then get past it. And then you can sometimes people become experts in what they struggled with earlier in their lives. I mean,
it's true.
Probably a lot of the advice that we give in our horoscopes comes from screwing up so much in our own love lives or making business mistakes or being too nice or not nice enough or whatever,
Yes. So how about the opposite kind of person? Someone who says, actually, I've always done pretty well. I'm a go-getter or I'm very good at what I do or I'm whatever it is. They've already built a certain level of success. And they're wanting to move into a bigger place of success. They want to really just expand now. They've done everything the normal way, and they're ready to just. How would you work with somebody? How would you read their chart? What would you ask them to think about or emphasize?
Well, sometimes those people are only focused on their work, or there's some other relationship that's kind of out of order or whatever. There are 2 points in the chart called the North and South Node. They're the destiny points, and we really look at those. We have something on our Astro Style website where you can find yours. And one indicates what you were in a past life and what you kind of came in with, like already being a natural expert at. And the other is the opposite sign, your North Node, and that's like your new lesson, your karmic destiny point. So actually a lot of people who are very successful in their careers have past life sign, their South Node in something like Capricorn or Taurus or Scorpio that shows that they have a real strong relationship with work and money. Right. But the opposite sign of that is always about something more personal. So sometimes they need to learn how, like I know I have a lot of clients who are women with Capricorn South Nodes and Cancer North Nodes, and they are struggling with like finding a maternal instinct or, maybe wanting to have kids but not being sure. Maybe they weren't able to have kids or they're afraid to give up their career because it's so much of their identity and they need to develop another part of themselves. So that is something that happens a lot too.
Yeah. I see that as well. People
Yeah,
come in wanting one thing, and then they realize, oh, it's the thing that I've been avoiding that I actually should have come in and, wanting. It's like, yeah, because you're already successful doing the one thing,
yeah.
So let's
And
look
a
at
lot
those
of
other areas that are holding
successful
you back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they might say they've always been successful, but everybody's afraid of sometimes those people are more afraid of losing everything
Yeah.
because, nothing's guaranteed to last forever. So,
Mm-hmm. Now, your book that just came out, Momstrology, I have to ask about it because, of course, I have a couple of kids. There it is. Beautiful. What? Why did you write that? Where did that come from?
well, I have a 4-year-old and a 14-year-old stepdaughter too. I think the reasons people don't always, live their dreams in life is because they're struggling with something. Or, when especially with women, when one of your most important relationships isn't working, it kind of feels like nothing else in your life works. So if it's your love life or a relative, your child or a parent, those are the things that really stop people from going forward. So this book has a chapter on the moms of every sign and the kids of every sign and how they match up, a whole section on that. Because a lot of books about astrology and kids only deal with the kids. Nobody ever helps the moms understand themselves and
their relationship to their child.
And to themselves. I mean, there's a chapter devoted to the mother of every sign and kind of like her psychological process through every age and stage from 0 to 18.
Ooh.
It's a lot of work, but I had to get into the mind of everybody while writing it. I was like, oh my God, this is kind of exhausting. But
what does a Cancer mother experience?
Exactly. I had to become that person. But I think that astrology is a great tool for compassion and self-compassion. I think that moms are always targeted as scapegoats, especially if you're a working mom. You're never doing enough of anything right. You always feel like you're failing in every area of your life, or neglecting your kids if you work, or not getting enough work done if you're with your kids. And this is kind of like a nice thing to show, like, every mom does something right and has an area of growth. And the more you understand yourself and accept yourself, the more you can go on to do big things in the world.
Yeah.
That's so, we have I would like to write a dedicated career astrology book next.
Yeah. I will have to interview you again when you do.
Yeah.
Ask you all my career questions.
Exactly.
So, do you have any final things that you could add to the conversation just about people's relationships with wealth or income inside themselves as it relates to their chart, and someone who's looking to say, I'm ready to just grow myself financially, and I've been maybe growing myself as a parent or growing myself as a human being, but now I'm going to focus on this part of my life and really finally get it right. How would you help that person?
Well, I think it's great to do your chart because you can understand how all the different parts of yourself work together. The chart, just like human beings, are something of a contradiction. So sometimes if you're a person who's just going out there and starting to build your career, your dream career, like, take your time, treat it like an organic process. Try a lot of things. Be willing to make mistakes. It is helpful to learn even just about your astrological sun sign. When you say, like, I'm a Leo or a Virgo or whatever, that's your sun sign. So even just reading about that is helpful. But don't use it as an excuse to not try things. Like, well, I'm a Virgo, so I'm going to be a perfectionist. I'm not even going to bother. Learn.
I'm a Gemini, so I'm just never going to stay focused.
Right,
I hear things.
And that might be true, but you can learn that. I mean, I am a Sagittarius, and when I started learning astrology, I learned, Sagittarius don't always follow through on stuff. So I was like, I do tend to start a million projects before I finish another one. So knowing that about myself, I was able to make a conscious choice to find a way to make it fun to finish things. That sometimes I had to reward myself for that. So you kind of have to work with your factory settings, which is what your astrology chart is, and 5 ways to sort of like
I like
reverse engineer it, you know? Nobody is born a business genius, you know?
True. Everybody, has to learn it. I like that. Your factory settings. Here's what they are.
Yeah.
So I think we have a free gift that you're willing to give to people to learn more about you. And they can go to your website to get it, which is astrostyle.com. But what is that gift you want to offer people?
Well, we have a guide called How to Get Along with Anyone, yes, even that person, and explains how the distance between two signs affects the personal dynamics. Because another key to success is, you know, learning how to get along with people and work with people and understand you're not going to get along with everyone, but maybe that person has something that you don't and can be valuable to you. So it's an ebook that when you go to this page and sign up for our mailing list, which will get you a free weekly horoscope every Sunday night. You also get this ebook. People love it. They say it's saved their lives and relationships, and it's very easy to understand.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thanks very much. I appreciate your time, and I'm just feeling like, you know, I haven't got my chart done in about 3 years. I need to go out and get caught up.
We need to talk.
Probably a lot of us watching are feeling the same way, like, yeah, what is going on? I feel like I've been operating blind.
And if you would like to do a 1-hour chart reading with us, you can go to astrostyle.com, and I think it says one-on-one readings are our chart shop. We have those. We offer those sessions by phone and Skype, and very illuminating, especially if you're at a turning point in your life.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you, Ophi. I appreciate your time and sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.